Hi, my name is Steve, my business partner Austin, and today we're going to be looking at LinkedIn and how to get referrals. You oftentimes hear people say, well, just get referrals. And that sounds somewhat helpful, but
Why don't homeless people just buy homes?
yeah, exactly. Exactly, because it's not that easy. So how do you do it? And can you do it on LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn, as we've talked about a number of times, we like because this is where the small business owners go. This is where they're at. So they're hanging out right with us right here. We just have to find them and approach them in some way. A lot of bookkeepers are introverts, so reaching out in a way such as this maybe is somewhat intimidating, but it doesn't have to be, and we'll show you why. So, um, people have probably even told you, well, LinkedIn is a great place to find referrals. And again, that gives you a small bit of information, but not the rest. So, how do you find that? And who makes a good referral partner for you? Let's start with that. So, if you're brand new, you don't want to reach out to somebody who's been doing this 10 years and has a bookload of people they work with. You don't offer them enough for them to want to partner with you. So you want to start basically looking for somebody at your level, so somebody who's new. And I know if you've been doing this for a while and you go on LinkedIn, you see this kind of stuff all the time. We didn't intentionally pick this, but this person just got licensed as a CPA. Um, since I am connected with a lot of bookkeepers and some accountants, I get several of these a week, if not almost a daily one. So right off the bat, this person's new. If you are also new, it's a great way to reach out to them and let them know that you would love to give them um, some of your clients. If they can give you the bookkeeping ones, you will give them the tax ones, however you want to work it out. And that's a great way to start. Tax preparers is another one that connects very well with bookkeepers. You guys do the first part of it, they do the second part of it. And there's other ones that you can look at, but I think those are probably the best. Some business attorneys are pretty good that handle startups. You possibly could get something out of that, but I think those first two CPAs and tax preparers are probably the best. So if you go to LinkedIn, other than this one just found me, how do you find these people? Where are they hiding? Where are they at? So it's actually just really simple. If you come up to the bar and you type CPA,
No, you're wrong.
I thought I was in the
You
bar.
went to the. I don't know why I went to the second screen.
All right, so we go CPA, and we should get a bunch coming up. So, this is one of the ways you can do it. You can look through and, um, mostly what I would be looking at if I was new is looking for new ones. You also can look for tax preparer the same way. You can specify city, all those types of things. And what you're looking for is somebody who's active on there and who you think you connect with. So if you've been doing this 5 years, you want to look for somebody about that same range too. So you can kind of look through and figure out when these people started, what they're doing. I'm getting a lot of Jackson, Tennessee's up here. Those are our jobs. So we got some CPAs to file, but I'm not going to look through each one, but it's something you could do. Um, Another just excellent place to go to is Google, and you can look through. Google has a bit better of a search engine than LinkedIn. LinkedIn is somewhat inconsistent, just like you know if you're. I've had plenty of times where I've put in something up there and I've gotten like a whole different result, but it's still better than nothing. But if you go to Google and look for new CPAs, your state registry will also let you know people that have passed the CPA. So you can connect there or look there and then connect on LinkedIn. Um, Probably if I was a new bookkeeper and I wanted to know the exact way to do it, this is exactly how I would do it. I would go to my hometown and I would look up on Google and try to get a list of as many CPAs in that hometown as I could. I'd come back to LinkedIn and I'd look for those names, and then I'd try to match up the number of years they've been doing it with where I'm at, and see if I could reach out to them and maybe get some help with that. It's not as hard as you think. Reaching out by email and LinkedIn isn't very scary, even for introverts. The worst thing that usually happens is they usually just don't respond at all. It's not very hurtful, and sometimes they'll just say no thanks, and that's not very hurtful. Almost everybody's pretty kind on here. We reach out to people for different things, and that's about the worst we've ever gotten: ignored or no thanks. So it's not as hard as it looks. Now, your connection on LinkedIn is pretty important. So uh, I almost feel like it's just better off just to connect. Just press the connect button and don't even put a comment with it. Other people will say it works better with the comments, and that's fine. But I would rather just you try to connect. Most people, if they're a CPA and or bookkeepers, are going to say yes. So you right away you get the connection, and then you work from there. Definitely don't start off by saying any kind of pitch. Don't start off by saying, let's work on this together. We can, I'm a bookkeeper. Let's get like, when you start right off with the pitch, that usually doesn't work out. So just connect, and maybe your first follow up after a person accepts, you can just say, I noticed you're in the same town and you're a CPA. I'm a bookkeeper. It's nice to get to connect on here. They'll probably answer back and say, yeah, it is, and then you can say, follow that one up with saying, we're both relatively new. How would you feel about starting a partnership where when you get somebody who needs a bookkeeper, you can refer them to me, and when I get somebody that needs a CPA, I can refer them to you, and that would be an excellent way to get started, and that's exactly how I would do it if I was starting off as a bookkeeper. I'm going to turn it over to Austin now.
So after you get connected, you want to start the real conversation. So like, oh, hey, Kevin. Uh, or I meant to read Calvin. I read as Kevin. We'll stick with Kevin. I've been enjoying your posts on bookkeeping, whatever. I work. I guess you went. I enjoy your posts on whatever your niche topic is. I work primarily with your niche. Let's say restaurant owners, and I find that by the time they come to me, the books are usually a year behind. Do you want to run with that with your clients too? And now you're having a real conversation, not a sales conversation. Uh, Maybe something different like that. A lot of the LinkedIn conversations just come off as fake, but I guess that's just the nature of the platform. But you can say something like, "Oh, let's have a 10-minute call, so sometime, and see if we can send each other business, each other's way." Um, So after that, you can have the referral conversation. You can ask them, "Oh, what does your ideal client look like? And what's the biggest frustration you have with clients coming to you unprepared?" And listen and share your own insight and tell them exactly what kind of client you work best with, what problems you solve, and what the handoff would look like if they sent someone your way. Make it easy for them to refer. Give them a one-liner they can use, like, "Oh, I work with a great bookkeeper who specializes in taco truck owners. Want me to make an intro?" And you'll make it easier for them to. The easier you make it for them to describe you, the more they'll actually do it. Um, Staying on top of mind, so you just want to keep like commenting on their stuff, liking their stuff, like actual comments, not like, "Hey, nice post." Tag them when you see something relevant to their world. You can send them a DM if you find like a nice article for like a useful article for them to read, and then when you refer them a client, tell them, because that builds reciprocity fast.
Reciprocity.
No, there's a C before the P. Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
Okay, here. You're gonna read this word, and you're gonna be the one that pronounces it. Oh. Reciprocity. That builds reciprocity fast. The goal is that when someone says to your CPA partner, "Oh, I need a bookkeeper," you're the name that comes to mind. You want to?
Yeah, I'll try to jump in at this point when you got me tongue-tied and twisted. We're still working with Calvin or Kevin, and we got the reciprocity going.
I ran 9 miles this morning.
All right, so I guess that's a good excuse. So, don't underestimate this, and don't underestimate the connections that you've made on here already. If you've been on here for let's say 1 month or 2 months, and you post sometimes, you answer people's stuff, people already tend to feel like they know you. It really, really does help. But the problem that you're going to have, and I'm going to give it to you right up front, is that so you're going to want to become, with these CPAs, you're going to want to become partners with at least one of them. I mean, and one is probably enough. But then you need to reach out to small businesses. So so you're gonna have to find small businesses. Ones in your area will start off the best. They'll trust you a little more just because you're from the same place. But like, let's say you're working with plumbers, or let's say you live in Dayton, Ohio. You want to reach out to some Dayton, Ohio businesses and just connect with them. And most people accept the connection. I know for us, we accept for everybody who reaches out, and there's a lot of people that do that. Some people maybe are more picky, I'm sure of that, but most people, if you reach out to them, will just accept the connection, especially if you're from the same town. So then with among those people, you're going to try to get some business down the line, but you need to start reaching out now. And these referrals are gold. Everybody knows that I love Google Business Profile, and the reason I love that is because the business comes to you. Well, for that very same reason, I love referrals, because the business comes to you. Very easy, very nice, exactly how you would want it. You have anything else, Austin?
No.
All right, that's all I got. If you're getting some value out of this, please comment, like, subscribe to our videos. It helps us a lot. We're still very new. We haven't really marketed this at all. So people are just finding us kind of by accident, and hopefully you're enjoying it. But that's all I got. We'll talk to you tomorrow.